Skylar and Jeff are not going to be here.
Okay,
Skylar's doing training and Jeff's got a work thing he's doing.
okay.
Well, we need 5 for form, so. We got that.
We got 5. So Larry's gonna be
There he is. There he is.
So we have a forum.
Oh, we did.
Where everybody's going for now.
Yep. Okay. Stand in front of the meeting. Ready?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Pat.
Bowman, Shoot,
Here.
McNaughton, Vogel. Here. Needhammer.
Here.
Place.
Here.
Jeff Ross. Monica Ross here.
As I mentioned, Jeff and Skylar both contacted us and requested to be excused.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to excuse Jeff and Skylar.
I've got a motion. Is there a second?
I'll start.
Couple of seconds. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, move on to the other consent agenda. Approval of minutes from February 21st, 2022.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Motion. Second, roll call, Pat.
Needhammer.
Aye.
Place.
Aye.
Monica Ross. Aye. Bowman.
Aye.
Shoot.
Aye.
Vogel. Aye.
Okay. Move on to hearing citizens present for non-agenda items. We're here for any non-agenda items. All right, thank you. All right, let's move on to reports of officers, boards, and standing committees. Scott?
As I mentioned, I believe last month, the city commission set up 3 meetings for short-term rentals. I believe we're 27th of April, 21st of April, and then the 5th of May. And those are scheduled for, I believe, 5:30. Yeah, 5:30, and then more will be scheduled as necessary. So anyone interested, please feel free to come and participate.
Anything else, Scott? or-
No.
Okay. Let's move on to unfinished business. Update Boyne City Public Participation Plan.
As we talked about last month, updating the public participation plan. I started at it with the intent to try to make it a little more readable, shorter, to the point, remove, complicated things and redundancies. And so we're basically staying with something with all the same points and issues. One thing I did want to note that when I converted this to a PDF, all the bullet points on pages 2 and page 6 are the question marks. Not quite, I guess Adobe doesn't know what bullet point is, so I just put that in there, so we'll try that. But other than that, it's being brought to you for your review and comment.
Yeah, and we're just commenting. We're not, and there's
No
no action towards it.
No, there's no action towards it. You can recommend it to the city commission for their review and consideration.
Have you highlighted what's changed and then deleted?
No, I did not. Basically, the big deletion was the previous plan talked about the methods of communications and talked about surveys, charrettes, community workshops, and all those listings and going about each one of those. And then in a later section, it said how to communicate results, and it went through these exact same points. So I thought that was kind of a redundant thing. When we talk about what our survey is and a charrette is, we don't need to go back to it. And just identify, using those techniques to communicate, our various results.
And then there were a couple of places that had Annie Doyle as a contact.
Yeah, and so those were updated, corrected, eliminated as necessary, how to contact or how to date references.
It looked like you had removed a lot of the examples of different things that had came from some. All the examples of different public meetings have been removed, so they were outdated.
Right.
Yeah, I think you did a good job.
Yeah.
of Shortening it up and cleaning it up.
One thing that I think that could be on here that's not is our QR code.
Okay.
Yeah, just figure it's an easy way to get people to pull it back to, where they need to get to where they can come and provide feedback. For the
We can
younger
put a QR code
generation.
on in the beginning of that.
Yeah,
Yeah. I should defer to my technical expert Pat over there.
QR code.
I am not. But I can figure it out.
Well, it's pretty cool, you got the logo right.
I know, yeah.
Whoever figured that
That
out.
would be me.
No? Okay, does anyone have any questions or?
I guess I got a comment. So this is a good document, that we, at the last meeting, so we want to use it as a working document, not as a document to put on the shelf.
Sure.
But isn't this same document applicable to the Parks and Rec Commission? or the
Well, it's
City Commission?
basically a city document. It's the city public participation strategy. It's not for one commission or board or anybody.
Right.
But it has not been, that I know of, a topic of discussion that.
No, I would encourage all the boards and commissions to review it and talk about it and how do you implement it for their particular, communication strategy.
Yeah, good point, because that hasn't happened yet at the City Commission level.
Right.
Now, we do have a document that we approved a couple of years ago, a code of ethics, basically.
Right.
And, basically how to treat one another at a
Right.
open meeting, and respect. And, I've stated a couple times that I think that should be posted.
Yeah.
And then this document should be shared with all of the commissions.
Absolutely. And I think when we brought it up in one, and Nicole had brought it up and we were going to talk about it. I think one of the questions was, should we wait to see what the city commission does or whatever? And it came down to, no, we just need to go ahead and do this.
Yeah.
Well, and I
Okay.
compliment us for taking the lead, because
Yeah.
that's awesome.
So is it, are you gonna bring this in front of the city commission then?
I'll give it to the city manager and he'll put it on the agenda when he sees that's appropriate. Right now, we're going for budget and that's kind of taking up all the oxygen in the building right now. So once we get that, move it forward.
Understandable. Okay. All right, thanks. All right, if there isn't any other discussion, let's move along to new business. The 2021 planning and zoning report.
As required by the Michigan Planning Enabling Act, a annual planning report is required to be developed, and this is the 2021 report. Basically, kind of going over all the things that we did over the past year, the various site plan reviews, the work on the various zoning changes, the work on a master plan, the update of the future land use map, our work plan, which was to identify, continue to identify ordinance amendments, continue to focus on training, and then also look at updating the master plan. As part of the budget this year, I will be requesting some funds for that purpose. RRC has indicated that as part of its technical assistance, they may assist helping us with updating the master plan. So there would probably be, some kind of match requirement to do that. Once it's, that budget's approved, then I can approach, Pablo at RRC to, see what options there are, and then, because it was my vision to, engage the services of some consultant to help us with this. We've done the last 3 master plans in-house, and, they're okay, but I think we could do a lot better, and I think if we get the services of a consultant, we could probably really develop a document that's much more, visionary than kind of the ones that we have in the last couple of times.
Yeah.
I was really impressed with Beck and Raider, what they did with the recreation master plan, and that's kind of something that I was envisioning, the similar kind of process with the master plan.
I think, yeah, it's been a while since we actually had a consultant on the master plan. I remember us being bold city buildings, and that was.
Well, the last one that I see was like 98. We had the consultant work for us. We had consultants for the master plan.
Oh, yeah.
We've had lots of other consultants to do lots of other planning. Like Mr. Robinson did the waterfront master plan. The Beck and Raider did the recreation master plan. I think Robinson also did an avalanche plan. So we, engaged them on other very site-specific kind of plans, but never, our master plan like this in the last 30 years. I did want to show you that picture of the new aerial imagery that we got.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Is that something there? That was just a shoreline showing that erosion from 18 to 21. So that, and this aerial imagery was acquired in partnership with the county. And they partnered with the state to basically get imagery throughout the entire county. When the city last did imagery as part of the SAW grant, it was about $24,000 at a cost. It didn't cost us that much because we had that grant to do it. But this come back, we got imagery that's twice as good, color for $2,400. So it was a very worthwhile partnership with the state and the county to do this. Then the number of grants, we did finally close out the Boyne Valley Trail grant. So that project is completely done. We are working on some more. You may have heard that we were successful in the trust fund grant for the open space. So that funding is yet to be allocated by the state. Once it is, then we can start working on developing that plan and going through that process. It's anticipated that the planning probably will happen later this year, and then the actual construction in 2023. So, as far as permits go, last year was a record year. We had over $24 million in development in the city. A large part was the Fuco plant. I think that was about 15 million in itself. But other than that, we had 34 new dwellings, with 19 of them being at the trailer park or manufactured housing community. But still, that's a lot of new homes that were developed. It seems there's a lot of pent up demand from the previous year, even given the costs increases for materials and labor, people still were building houses last year at a record rate. So that's the 21 report. Do you have any specific questions? I'd be happy to answer.
I find the enforcement activity interesting.
Yeah, we're all over the board there. That does take a lot of our time.
We very much appreciate it.
I like the charts. I put them on Facebook. Did you see that?
No, I did not.
Yeah, I combined them into one graphic.
Okay.
I thought it was very telling and very
Mhm.
interesting.
With the enforcement, I know that that was kind of a hot topic when it was going through a change in all of that ordinance. Has it been well received? from the-
The property maintenance code?
Yeah.
Well, the part of the adoption process, the commission set up enforcement policy as part of it. Their fear was it would be used to nitpick or for minor things. So, you know, that ordinance was really focused on, you know, very severe life, health, welfare, safety issues. And that's the way we approached it. So, and in that, we've been successful in addressing probably about half a dozen dilapidated structures and getting them either repaired or removed or whatever. So yeah, it's been successful, and we haven't had any concerns or complaints about its enforcement. No.
Good, that's wonderful.
Any other questions or comments from this?
Well, the new dwellings, 34 new dwellings certainly helps towards our housing dilemma. And as Steve Schnell has said from the beginning, we need housing at every level, not just entry level and workforce and attainable, whatever you want to call it. There's all types of names out there. We need houses at every single price range.
Well, yeah, and adding to the inventory only helps. And even though it may be, you know, a new house on the lake, it may be for someone that's moving out of the house in town that opens that unit up. So, you know, every unit for the inventory helps.
Or generates income for the contractors.
Well, we just approved the street with
Right.
make the size change. And,
Yeah, that went to the-
That was gonna be 4 or 6 houses, I can't remember, but.
That's 4 is anticipated there.
Yeah, so, you know, every little bit helps.
Absolutely.
And then you got big projects that haven't developed yet, they've been through our process, but you know, Fox Run is 145 units, and the Moss on Lake Street is 45 units. If and when those start, it's really gonna help the
And
numbers.
then the 211 Water Street that was just recently approved, there's 2 more units, so you know, everyone helps.
Is Fox Run still on target for having some units available by later this year?
I haven't spoken with Mr. Ratchy yet, so I'm not sure what their schedule is. It seems there's not a lot going on, so they may be delayed for some reason.
Just my observation, I don't want to speak for anybody, but they kind of took February off. Probably because of weather,
Yeah.
and they're up there, they're up there today.
Oh,
All right, so any other questions about the planning and zoning report? Okay.
There's no action required on it, just
Yep.
receive it from.
Yeah, it was a very informative report.
All right, let's move on to staff report.
I gave you the outlines for the training on April 11th, and you all have been signed up. If you can't make it, let me know, and we'll take you off the list and open those spots up for others. All of the RRC engaged communities in northern Michigan are invited.
Okay.
And they also reserve 10 spots for the adjacent township if they want to send some people, and I've invited them, so hopefully we could go.
Has there been any response yet, or you won't hear about it?
They're reserving directly with Pablo, so I don't know what the list is yet. I can inquire once we get closer.
Yeah.
And I do want to correct a statement I made last month. There was a question regarding the road length, and I stated that 600 feet was the maximum. And it's not, because I went back to the municipal standards and there isn't a distance in there. I must have been reviewing a number of other road ordinances and found it and recalled it as that. So just to clarify that is not in our municipal standards, so there is no maximum length of a dead end road.
And this April 11th is at 6 P.M.
6 P.M. And, you know, this training was developed just for, you know, our request. So they kind of, made it, specific to our, what we wanted, and hopefully we'll meet your needs and goals. And you know, I don't think it's gonna take more than a couple hours, but we'll see. No, that's all I got.
Awesome. All right, let's move on to good of the order.
Just clarification, well, seeing as the weather is so wonderful in Boyne City in April, I'll be gone for most of April.
Okay.
From the 6th through the 26th, so I apologize, I made plans a while ago.
Understood.
So I'll be gone for this and a couple of the short-term rental meetings. I will be at the short-term rental meeting May 5th.
I would be very surprised if it can get all wrapped up in 3 meetings, so.
Okay.
That would be more.
But with the little owl devices, you should be able to keep track of it if you're. I'll go back and look at it on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
You too, maybe, in person, no.
You'll be enjoying this.
Yeah.
I think it would be a good idea to put that meeting on.
I'm sure it's a city commission meeting, and that's the policy now to put all the meetings.
No, but I mean, this April 11th meeting.
Oh,
That way we'd have to get permission.
yeah, I don't know if that would be permitted, because it's not a meeting, it's a training session that.
Right, and we pay for it, and give it out for free is.
Oh, yeah, so MML probably doesn't want to do that. do they?
Well, it's MEDC,
Okay.
it's fun, so.
But the short-term rental meetings, yeah, should definitely be on.
Were those dates 4/21, 4/27, and 5/1? Did I was trying to write the dates down, and I wanted to make sure I had them right.
April 7th, April 21st, and then May 5th.
Oh, May, April, what was the first
April
one?
7th,
April, okay,
and then April 21st,
okay,
and then May 5th.
okay, thank you.
Anything else, guys? What we're doing well. Right, and at this point, we'll just move to, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Any motion?
So moved.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Motion and a second?
He's clear.
And a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, and I'll see you guys back here on our next meeting. Well, actually, I will see you before then. I will see you on April 11th. at 6 o'clock. Okay.
Hopefully I'll get excused next.
Yeah, and I'll be gone also.
You'll be gone.
Yeah, those short